He is one of the most beloved mutants by the audience. He had a great highlight in episode 8 of X-Men 97, besides having made appearances in other animations, movies, and games. Today is the day to talk about Nightcrawler. Do you know his story? Stay until the end of the video to get all the details of Kurt Wagner's Nightcrawler story in the comics. First appearance, Giant Size X-Men number 1, April, 1975, created by Len Wein and Dave Cockrum. Origin, in the form of a German noblewoman, the shape-shifting mutant Raven Darkholm, who would later be known as Mystique, married Baron Christian Wagner in order to benefit herself as part of a deal she made with her partner Irene Adler. During her marriage, Mystique asked her husband to hire Irene as a maid and started an affair with her and another one with demonic mutant from La Isla de Demones, Azazel, with suggestion from Irene, the latter which she quickly got bored of. During one night, Irene confided that she wanted to have a child with Raven, having been preoccupied by other designs. Raven agreed and they conceived a child with Raven morphing as a man for the act, altering her gametes to pass on traits from both Azazel, Christian and countless others, and ended the affair with Azazel soon after. To avoid suspicions about the Azazel affair and to please her husband who also wanted a child, Raven used her powers to fake a pregnancy at the same rate as Irene. However, Baron Wagner became paranoid after seeing Raven with Azazel and began to spy on her, and eventually, one night Raven and Irene were caught by Baron Wagner, who wanted to have them killed, but Mystique killed him first, forcing her to pose as the Baron in order to hide the truth. Born visibly mutated with blue fur all over, pointed ears, iridescent eyes, and a prehensile tail, and seemed to be stillborn, Mystique and Destiny initially wanted to raise Kurt together, but they were soon discovered together by servants of the Baron, with Raven's true appearance revealed. Due to word of her affair with Azazel spreading and the baby's condition revealed, Destiny told Mystique to run, and soon, Irene was chased by a torch-wielding angry mob who wanted to hang her. Raven, worried about Irene, ran back to the castle and left Kurt under a tree, but Irene, who had managed to escape, took the baby and ran away. Before Azazel's arrival, Destiny had foreseen that he would rise to be a powerful villain that would kill all heroes and villains and eventually take over Earth, and to stop him, Kurt would have to be presented as his son, hoping that this would foil his plans. When Mystique eventually found Destiny, they would go to seek the assistance of Charles Xavier in order to rewrite their memories to help Mystique deal with the loss of their son. Chris Claremont's initial idea for Nightcrawler's past was that the mutant would be the son of Mystique with Destiny. The blue mutant would shapeshift, or change her body, and have sexual intercourse with her wife, who would become pregnant. The reasons for this idea being discarded were never explicitly revealed. Thus, the shocking relationship between two women was avoided so that Mystique would have relationship with a demon. Claremont's idea about Nightcrawler's past was rejected, so a new one had to be established. Eventually, it was revealed that Mystique had a brief romance with the demon Azazel, leader of the Nightcrawler, an ancient race of mutants with a demonic appearance. The Nightcrawler are a group of mutants from biblical times who live in the dimension of sulfur, a place to which they were exiled by the Chiaraphim, a group of mutants with an angelic appearance. Some things about Nightcrawler are already known even to an audience that does not consume comic book stories. The fact that he is German is present in all animations, his past in the circus is even present in movies. What most people do not know is the exact location where the mutant was born. Nightcrawler, as we all know, is German. What some do not know is that he was born in Winseldorf, a small village located in the Bavarian Alps, in southern Germany. After Mystique gave birth and abandoned him, he was adopted by a family of wizards who worked in the village circus. There, he worked until his adoptive brother began to kill people, and in a confrontation with him, Nightcrawler ended up killing him. When the residents of Winseldorf discovered what Kurt had done, they gathered to lynch the mutant, who was saved by Charles Xavier. Before we continue, we have a playlist here on the channel totally dedicated to X-Men 97 and videos about various members of the mutant team. Click on the card that is appearing on your screen and stay tuned to everything, as well as leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. X-Men, in their first story with the team, the original X-Men disappear on a routine mission on Krakoa Island. Charles Xavier then gathers a new team of substitutes made up of Colossus, Storm, Wolverine, Banshee, Solaris, Thunderbird, and Nightcrawler. Kurt Wagner helped Professor Xavier and Cyclops rescue the original X-Men from Krakoa. After most of the original team left for a while, Wagner, along with his new rookie colleagues, remained at the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters as members of the new X-Men. The second group of X-Men were mostly adults and did not need Professor X's private lessons, but were trained in the use of their powers in the Danger Room. Kurt began to form a close friendship with Wolverine and Colossus, even accepting a challenge from Wolverine to walk down the main street of Salem Center without disguise, in his natural form. Nightcrawler has even led the team on some occasions. In addition, he also was part of the Excalibur team, which consisted of Captain Britain, Megan, Phoenix, Rachel Summers, Shadowcat, and Lockheed. Wagner finally discovered that Mystique was his mother. Kurt eventually became the team leader and moved the team to the Muir Island Research Center, where he briefly reunited with Amanda Sefton, who had taken on the codename Day Tripper, and his former X-Men teammate Colossus also joined the team. After Excalibur disbanded, Kurt returned to the United States, along with Shadowcat and Colossus to join the X-Men. Sacrifice. While fleeing from Bastion, Kurt used his ability to take Hope Summers as far away from the country as possible. Bastion caught up with him and anticipated one of Kurt's teleports, putting his arm through Kurt's chest. Praying to God to give him the last jump of his life, Kurt took Hope to Utopia, dying in the process. The X-Men were devastated by Kurt's death, especially Wolverine, with some blaming Hope or Cyclops. His cremation and eulogy took place in Utopia. It was not a Catholic funeral, but it was the best they could do under the circumstances. Bamf, sound of Nightcrawler's teleportation. The comics point out that originally the small creatures named Bamfs were beings from an alternate reality, having the same appearance and attire as Nightcrawler. Azazel's Bamfs, however, are creatures from the depths of hell. With the sacrifice, Nightcrawler gains permission to ascend to the kingdom of heaven. But there was no peace, as Azazel used the connection with his son to teleport to paradise and have his minions enter the location. The goal is to steal as many souls as they can to set up his own kingdom in hell, becoming a god. In this story, we see Azazel with red Bamfs and we have their origin. Resurrection. Nightcrawler now resided in heaven, where he felt lonely. Despite enjoying paradise, Nightcrawler continued to feel like he had unfinished business, remaining outside of paradise instead of truly joining the celestial choir. When Azazel launched an attack on heaven using his connection with Kurt as a door, the other X-Men were able to create a portal to heaven through the power of the Bamfs, allowing them to help Kurt in his fight and with the intention of bringing him back from the dead. The plan worked, with Azazel defeated thanks to Professor X's own spirit after his death at the hands of Cyclops. Kurt was resurrected by the powers of the Bamfs, rejoining the X-Men. Everyone celebrated his return, but it was interrupted when Mystique came looking for Azazel. Kurt tried to stop both, but was defeated. Powers and abilities: teleportation, the ability to teleport himself, the clothes he is wearing, and a certain amount of additional mass he is in contact with. He teleports by shifting to the dimension of sulfur, traveling through it, and then returning to his own dimension at a certain distance from his starting point. He consciously determines his return point. The whole process happens so fast that Nightcrawler hardly perceives being in the dimension of sulfur. Nightcrawler navigates through the dimension of sulfur by a natural and subconscious sense of direction. When he disappears in teleportation, Nightcrawler leaves behind smoke with a smell reminiscent of burning sulfur. This is a small portion of the atmosphere of the dimension of sulfur that escapes when the fissure is open. His teleportation is always accompanied by the muffled sound of the air imploding to fill the vacuum left where Nightcrawler's body was, creating his famous BAMF sound. Additionally, Nightcrawler can stick to objects with the surface of his hands and feet, allowing him to climb surfaces. Camouflage: he has limited abilities to blend with shadows due to his indigo fur and his connection with light reflection attributes from the dimension through which he teleports. This is also the reason why he constantly appears in the shadows, even under direct light. Master Acrobat: Nightcrawler is an Olympic-level acrobat thanks to his flexible spine, which allows him to perform contortionist feats and stay in a semi-crouched position for long periods without harm. Master Combatant: he is a skilled hand-to-hand combatant and a master fencer, being able to fight even with his tail, which is strong enough to support his entire body weight. Pilot: he served as the team's pilot and, along with Wolverine, has also been the mechanic for the X-Men's Blackbird for a long time. Another strong characteristic in Kurt's personality is his strong religious faith, adhering to Roman Catholicism. Did you know that initially he was created for DC Comics? Dave Cockrum drew Nightcrawler while still in the United States Navy. His original idea was of a demon who refuses to return to hell to be punished after failing a mission. He would serve as a helper of another of his creations, the Intruder. Later, he tried to include the character in the Legion of Superheroes series at DC Comics, where he worked before going to Marvel. The DC editor Murray Boltinoff rejected the character for having a too funny appearance. In addition to the comics, Nightcrawler has become a very beloved character by fans, thanks to his appearances in animated series, such as X-Men Evolution, Wolverine and the X-Men. X-Men the animated series recently had a highlight in X-Men 97, as well as his participation in Fox movies, or even in games. Now I want to know your opinion. Did you know Nightcrawler's origin? Is he one of your favorite X-Men? Write in the comments, leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel with notifications on. Every day you will receive content about the X-Men, Marvel, and DC. Thank you very much and see you in the next video.